Hello everyone, good evening. We are going to continue Alpha Tauri. So far we have just 2 races left this season. We have United States, Las Vegas, and we have it is Abu Dhabi, unless they potentially I just need to, yes, Island Abu Dhabi, yes. I doubted myself there for a second, but yeah, we are ready to basically finish off this season, and it's looking good. Let's be honest, we don't have a lot of money right now because we are doing a little bit of an upgrade for next season start, which is basically very okay. No problem with that. In terms of the research here, we are very much ahead too. Going into next season, we'll have a little bit of a boost on airflow and drag reduction for the chassis, and we'll have the same here for the sideboards, a bit of a bigger gain. But front wing, small gain, rear wing, small gain, underfloor, no gain, and the front suspension, a pretty big gain. So we might actually invest a little bit more in probably the chassis here. Get that one still to kind of keep up with the rest of the car. But we have a healthy lead here. No way we're losing the championship. As you saw last time around, Rick has become world champ. So we'll have to see if we actually maybe switch him out maybe next season. We'll have to see. I am kind of tempted to give a younger driver a go. Maybe add a limitation here that once a driver has won a championship, we're going to have to go for one that is younger, which would be funny. Sponsored by Bernard. Unfortunately, I kind of need my money right now, so we'll just acknowledge you. If I had a lot of money, I probably would sponsor you. Seeing as we probably will not be seeing you in the near future, I don't think we're going to do that. So we're lacking a rear wing. Let's go ahead and get that made. But yeah, we'll have to see exactly what we do here, because I am tempted to kind of do that. Since we have one with Rick, maybe let him go. He should be going to a new team. He is still very highly rated. Maybe snatch up a talent. Maybe promote, say, Lawson. Although we have given him a new contract, we might try and promote him. It's going to cost us a lot of money. But we'll have to see. I've been really bad at planning on when to switch out drivers. In theory, I want to just allow Rick to run out his contract, but it is still 2 years away. So we'll have to see exactly how we deal with that. But it gets a point out ability. Sonoda gets cornering, adaptability, and reactions, which is pretty neat. And also just still need to do a little bit more work on smoothness, but we'll try and remember to give him that slot in, free practice to help developing him a little bit more. Car still looking good, honestly, although it's again not really reflective. And since our pick is max, the only thing we really care about here is if we're gonna be weary at the race weekends themselves, and we're not, so we're just gonna confirm pick crew training there. No need to make anything, massively different. Suspension, underfloor, and rear wing manufactured, which means we should be up to caught up on damaged parts, which is going to be very good. And for Las Vegas Grand Prix here, I think we'll try and snatch fastest lap. It's usually pretty bad, honestly. And I'm going to be a bit bold. Nah, we're not going to be bold. We're just going to say one driver, top 5 per last 2 races. Being bold in the economic sense usually doesn't pay off for me. Being kind of blend it, do aggressive strategies in races do. So we'll be a little bit measured here. But as you can see, we have 70 million now with the money we got from November. So if we have a look at what we can expect, we're going to get 5 million once we hit December, which, well, will bring us up to about 22. We'll also get about 3 to 4 million from the races. So we're actually looking pretty good here. And we are going to do at least one more set of researches for all of these. So probably 6 million or so out if we are being very, well, let's be honest, it's more like 5, but it should still be okay.
Welcome to the Silver State of Nevada.
And as you see here, regular race. And in terms of our car parts here, we should really not have any problems at getting through this, hopefully. I hope my boys don't pull a Piastri. If you haven't seen, Piastri did a pretty amazing move in yesterday's stream. Never seen anything like it. I'll probably have it uploaded on the channel shortly, because it looked pretty funny. It's basically just a short thing. Just a short minute video or so. Yeah. Let us get set up let's get through practice, quali, and we'll see where we actually end up for the second to last race. Quali is completed, and once again, the amount of blocking that we had was just insane. That's the best way I can describe it. I've never been this much blocked on 7 laps that we were during this Q3 session. So we qualified 6th and 9th, but as you can see, there's some penalties here in play as well. So unless I'm mistaken, we're going to start second row with both drivers. So not horrible, but at the same time, very frustrating that Las Vegas is such a, you know, bad qualifying experience, I guess I could say. And we can only hope that we will not have that for in reality. And I probably said this last time around this race as well, but it does need a little bit of fine-tuning on the quali. We do need to get cars out of the way better. I feel like for quali you should have a racing line and a, you know, racing line and an offline, and just have people run the offline for the most part. It is a band-aid, a pretty bad one, but it could solve the problems of you getting held up as much as you do in quali, because right now there's no punishment for the AI for doing so. And there's no AI punishment for the player either if they do it to the AI. Okay, degradation time. Degradation here, about 2/10 difference between soft to the medium. That is about 10 laps worth of advantage. Probably a little bit more, probably 12 laps advantage here, because there is a little bit more than 2/10. For the medium to the hard, though, that is a bit more an interesting one. It's less than 3/10, and degradation is 400s, which means that before 10 laps are gone, the mediums will be worse than the hards. So we want to avoid the mediums as much as possible. And if we want to do a 2-stop here, it's probably going to be a hard soft run. It's once again a very long pit lane with 29 second stoppage. So if we want to do something, I do not want to delete the strategy, it would be something like this. Most likely. Now, can we make this work? Not really. If we do this, it becomes much more likely. Although, as you can see, degradation on the softs is still pretty high. But I think we can make this work. It'll be about 25 seconds quicker. One stopper here will be basically, we'll be saving a pit stop by doing it like this, and I think it's going to be better. In terms of compounds here, both of them have a medium and a hard, so we don't really have too much flexibility in what we're going to do. So with that in mind, I think we're just going to do this for both. A bit aggressive here. We might need to tune it down if, of course, we end up losing more tire than expected. But I think this is going to be a decent strategy for this track. We can, of course, try and say that we want to do a bit more aggressive here with the one-stopper. Probably won't work, as you can see. We'll burn to the tires a little bit too quick. If you want to, say, do a medium-hard soft pull attack stint, let's see if that has any merit here. It kind of does, honestly. It is quicker by a good 7 seconds, so it does have merit because we're doing 5 laps more. I guess we'll try this for Tsunoda. Could probably move this over for Rick as well, but again, this is very close in degradation, but it is potentially 7 seconds quicker. So we'll create this strategy for Rick as well, because as you can see that it's actually viable. It does have its, it does have potential. So we'll go ahead and update Rick's strategy too. Now the main problem you're going to have on this track is basically overtaking. So after that first pit stop, if we get into problems with, you know, overtaking, then we could get stuck by another cars, which of course will not be really good. But we are starting second row here. We have been promoted pretty far up the field. So if we can take good use of these mediums, again, we're not really staying out much longer than we would on the softs anyways. But if we can take good use of these mediums and actually have a good stint, it should help out a ton. And as you can see here, it's about 7 seconds quicker than the expected one, and almost half a minute quicker than a one-stopper. So we'll try this. We'll see how it works. But then again, the main thing with two-stoppers is that can you get by the car in front of you? Are you going to be losing a lot of time? Because it is quicker theoretically, but the main thing you're going to be losing time on doing aggressive two-stoppers like this is being stuck behind other slower cars. So unless you lose, you know, enough time to make a one-stopper worth it, I say two-stoppers are the way to go, unless of course your picker is very, very error prone.
The city of Las Vegas is
But I think we are good with this one.
And it's lights out, and
Okay, so we have Perez and Alonso in front. And I did say this for the Alfa Romeo video. Battles is basically can be somewhat detrimental if used with neutral. But honestly, I feel like it's not bad enough that I would turn it off, because I really like the fact the AI kind of manage it themselves. If I lose a little bit of lap time, I'm fine with it. We haven't seen any, huge problems from it so far. So to me, it is acceptable, even if we do lose a little bit by using it. Now, for the most part here, we are running SSC medium tires. There are some soft runners, just 2 of them in the top 10. But generally here, I think we had a pretty decent start. As long as we can stay with Perez and Alonso, that'll help us out a little bit. But Alonso is just straight up rapid right now. We are kind of struggling to keep up with them. But yeah, we are going to be running attack here, so once they kind of start slowing down a little bit, we'll have a much easier time. And as you can see, we still are very far away from the, severe overheating. Temperature is still going up though, so we'll have to see exactly what it maxes out at. But for now, I think we are very, very happy where we are. We'll speed things up a little bit. But as I said, the ERS battle assist here. Mike, who has been testing a lot of Mike Takumi, who's been testing a lot about how this game works, kind of also did a test on the battle assist. Generally, it doesn't really do anything if you're not within a second of the car in front or behind. But it will lead to generally slower lap times if you run neutral. It will be very good if you are deploying. It does the job very well then. But generally, unless you are planning to, actively use it, you might lose a little bit of lap time. Me personally, I enjoy just having it on, because unless I really need to micromanage to get by a car in front with harvesting, the AI will do that for me. We haven't really seen any problems with staying within range of, the AI. So I'm honestly perfectly happy with leaving this on for the most part, because again, it does the job for me for recharging. I don't need to micromanage the RS as much, and to me, I'm more than willing to sacrifice that little amount of lap time that I lose from having it on constantly. Now, we are up to second and third, and we'll probably be retaking that on this next lap. The main concern that we have are tire temps, but as you can see here, degradation is as expected. We're not going much over 122, so tire-wise, we're actually very, very safe here. With that in mind, we'll speed things along, and we'll see where we're at once we get to that first pit stop, if we have managed to leave Alonso and Perez behind. We've had a bit of an incident here. As you can see, Rick has got a penalty. Both cars have damage, which is not going to be great at all. We're actually at the pit entry, so I'd like to see what happened here, but we are going to have to do some pit stops. As you can see, we have a terminal front wing, minor suspension damage. Tires are kind of gone, but that isn't the main concern. We're going to have to switch the strategy up a little bit. We'll have to see exactly how much we're going to have to switch it up. But yeah, I would assume that we actually had our cars crash into each other, which is very unfortunate. Now, with Rick here, we're going to have him run probably another lap, because he has that penalty. He too has a terminal front wing, but he has won the championship. And as you can see, he actually picked up 15 seconds worth of time penalties. What? Excuse me? You picked up 50... How did you pick up 15? Did you hit the Red Bulls too, or Stroll and Alonso? I would think so, yeah. Okay. But yeah, we're going to have to allow Rick to run one more lap, just because, as you can see, 15 seconds worth of time penalty caused 3 collisions. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the replay on that one. But I am, as I said, very, very curious about what we actually had happen here.
And we're watching Daniel Ricciardo. Dangerously close to each other.
Okay, so they touched each other, and then he...
Far from intentional, but there was contact. A bitter blow too for more than one driver from the pack.
Did they really just have that light of a touch? I guess he got put into the wall still, but the fact that that counted as 3 collisions though is kind of worrisome. But yeah, we are pitting Rick next lap. He's just gonna have to live with the pain for now. We actually had also pit stop issues, so everything's going on this time around. But yeah, again, I don't see how that was 15 seconds worth of time penalties. It's not like he's Ocon. But yeah, we're gonna have to remake the strategy here a little bit. It's a bit problematic, don't get me wrong, but I still think we can make something out of this. As you can see, we just have to, we're gonna slow down a ton as a result. But it is the best thing we can do in the current situation. We can go a little bit more attack towards the end of the strategy. And we'll just copy that over for Danny Rick, who's going to be extremely far behind once we actually get this all sorted. But yeah, that is unfortunately how it went. We'll see how long this pit stop is. Probably the longest pit stop in the history of this game. Serving the 15-second penalty. Stop time. Well, 23 seconds stop time. That is massive. I need to just screenshot that. I need to just turn off the Steam screenshot sound. But yeah, 23-second stop time. Yeah, that was pretty insane. But what I said, we're just gonna copy him over to Tsunoda strategy. We're gonna have, you know, one hell of a job ahead of us here in terms of trying to recover some points. But at least we got a bunch of free air. For now, though, we'll speed things along. We'll see if we get a safety car, something that can maybe put us back into contention. But even that is just going to put us probably to the back of the pack. So we'll do our best here and see if we can make something out of this still. We have the safety car here. So Rick is only made it up to 18th place. Tsunoda is up to 11th. There's still a couple of cars that hasn't pitted. It's Ocon and Albon. But most cars have pitted here. And what we could do, if we really wanted to, is be a tad cheeky. And maybe change our strategy a little bit here to 2 soft stints. I don't know if that's going to be quicker, per se. But we could try and do this because we have used a bit of those hards. 2 full attack stints on the softs. Not really too viable. In theory, though, it's going to be about 4 seconds slower. And as you can see, yeah, we can actually make this work. So, but I think we're just going to stay on the strategy that we currently have. Maybe. Or Rick, we can actually pit here, no problem. He's going to be coming out behind anyways. But as I said, we have a lot left on these hards, so we could still make them work. But yeah, this safety car is not the best one that we've ever seen. So, but we'll get Rick in. He actually drove past.
And we've had a crash on track.
It is fine though. Bottas with a crash on turn 15.
Now this was Valtteri Bottas. And that's the moment the car...
Honestly, I don't think we're going to pit Rick here. We're actually going to not do that. Because the idea that I have right now is that, as you can see, its degradation isn't as high as we expected. And it's even less here for Rick. Well, I'm thinking that after the safety car, we're just going to go full attack. We're just going to go kind of full send it. Try and get back. Some cars that are pitting onto mediums. Some are pitting onto hards. But generally here, I think... Let's face it, everyone that has pitted just now are going to be on those tires till the end of the race. Would pitting under the safety car be good for us? Of course it would. We'd save a lot of time. In this case, we'd save about 13 seconds, maybe. But at the same time, I think it's just going to be better for us to just do that one stopper. Be able to push these hard tires aggressively. We have other cars on hard tires around us, of course. But I think at least for Tsunoda, the best bet here would be to, you know, not pit. For Rick, we probably could have pitted, and it wouldn't be made much of a difference there, honestly. We're going to pit him. It's a bit late, but he should have one more lap to catch up, so we should be okay. Again, I am a little bit back and forth right now with myself on what is the better strategy, but for Rick here, it's probably better to put him on this one. As you can see, he can run full attack on 2 soft stints there, so we'll get him in. It'll be a little bit behind the safety car, but I think we should be able to catch up to the back of the grid easily here. And he did. So with that, we also save a little bit of extra tire, interestingly enough. So that was probably the best execution we could have done, particularly since the safety car is coming in now. But as I said, we're going to run both of these things on attack. We are going to give deploy. And we're going to try and, you know, make up as many positions as quickly as we can before that second pit stop of ours. It is kind of difficult to overtake it, particularly if we have DRS trains to contend with. But we'll try our best and see if we can make something happen. We have already had a couple incidents. We could, of course, have one more. So we'll try our best here, and we'll see if we can make something out of this. But for now, we just had the restart. Everyone will be kind of pushing a little bit. So take a couple of laps before we see any results here, probably. There we go. We're going to be pitting Tsunoda this lap. It's still going to be a couple laps before we pit Rick, unfortunately. Still can't really make anything out of it, so most likely it has backfired horribly. But there's not really much we can do at this stage. Again, it is just how it be sometimes. particularly when we have teammates crashing into each other. But we'll try and make the best that we can out of this still. We still have some opportunities. They're not great opportunities, but they're still opportunities. And for Rick, we're going to do one more lap before we put him onto that second set of softs. Although the better option here, as I said, will probably be to just keep him out. We have kind of committed to this now, so we'll do it. But yeah, bit unfortunate there with the crash that they had them in between. Safety car didn't really do us any favors either. So yeah, not the best outing here. But the boat might be very disappointed. But we have won the championship, so honestly, it's not really a concern for me personally. But 10 laps to go. Still see how high up we can get ourselves here with the time remaining. We've had an incident here towards the end. Well, that was the wrong thing. That was Rick overtaking Schumacher.
The opportunity begging to be...
At least we're getting some overtaking done here. But we've had an incident here with Albon.
Now, who is that?
It doesn't look like too much damage there. A little bit damage on the front wing. Okay, front wing damage for both cars by the looks of it. So nothing major. That's going to bring out a safety car. We have Tsunoda though, setting fastest laps here, 38 blanks. But as you can see, even that isn't that much quicker than cars in front. We'll just barely catch Norris by the end of this race. So not really working too good for us here, unfortunately. And we're just going to speed along here till the end. Because as I said, I don't think we have very good opportunity here at getting points. We just have 5 laps. We have Russell in front. We have used a lot of our tires. So maybe not do softs here. Maybe should have done save the next set of hearts in practice, but it is what it is. We'll just have to deal with it. And we are up in 11th, 6 seconds up to Russell. Let's see if we can catch him before the end. We're currently on last lap. We have caught up to the back of the train here, but I don't think we're going to have anything that will allow us to do any overtaking, unfortunately. It is just what it is. We'll use all the battery that we have. For Rick here, we'll just use everything to deploy. He made it up to 12th, but again, it is a bit unfortunate, but it is just how it be sometimes. Incidents do kick you out of the points. It is what happened here.
And look at your dash on the line for the fuel, please. Look at your dash on the line.
And Rick actually made it just over the line there with little fuel. But I'd say it's an okay recovery. It's not great by any means necessary.
Returning now is Charles Leclerc. And no doubt, Verstappen fan.
Among the drivers returning now is Charles Leclerc. What? What was that? But yeah, we ended up 11th and 12th. That is a disappointment. We did snatch the fastest lap though. We'll see if we get a payout for that without the point. Verstappen wins, Stroll second, Sainz third, then Perez and Alonso, Leclerc, Gasly, Hamilton, Ocon, Russell. Basically kind of what we got used to in Season 1. We still have, as I said, the championship in hand, so it doesn't actually affect anything from that perspective. It just makes it so that Tsunoda cannot fight for second place. Red Bull has some pretty quick pit stops here. Unfortunately, we are going to probably not be able to fight them next time around. And as you can see, we had a couple of pit stop delays for both drivers here. But this one in particular, with the... Sorry, where is it? Where's the penalty one? I guess it doesn't put in there, but the fact that Rick had a basically half a minute, well, 23-second penalty, 23-second pit stop with a penalty. I say this is still an acceptable race. I probably should have gone to a one-stopper after that first error, but it is what it is. And we did get fastest lap money. We lost out on the finish position streak, which is understandable. We didn't finish in the top 5. But yeah, a bit unfortunate there that our drivers decided to have a little bit of a crash session with each other. Let's put it like that. Just how it be sometimes. Destroy front wings, destroy suspensions, failed rear wing and side pods. I think we are going to manufacture 2 of these before the last race. Sorry, I should just manufacture 1 because that's all we have time for. I don't think we need to make any other parts, but having extra front wings is probably a good idea for the most part. But we won't have time to actually, create any more other parts. I did waste a little bit of money there on an extra suspension. It is what it is. We have an engine here that is kind of damaged, but again, it's just the last race. We have secured everything that we wanted to, so it's actually not it's not really affecting us in any way, shape, or form. Now, a chassis research there. I really would like to see exactly how much of an improvement it was. But I think, as I said, we might just put all of the CFD and ATR period here into this chassis. Because, again, it's getting hit pretty hard. It's just a 5% increase, though, because of the fixing, so to speak. So we'll have a look and see what we can get from other things, like the front wing. Investing in the front wing here might definitely... It's already a better option, as you can see. It'll give us more cornering stance, which again are probably the more important ones. So I think we'll invest this ATR period into the front wing. The underfloor, I don't think this will really be worth it. But as you can see, it would actually give us more than cornering ability than the chassis would to some degree. So what I think we're going to do is actually invest into the front wing. We're just going to have to catch up with the chassis later on. It too needs a bit of airflow sensitivity, airflow front. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. We'll go ahead and do this. It'll give us a little bit more dirty air tolerance, which means we can tune this down next season. The brake cooling is going to be nice as well. So we'll go ahead and do just this. And honestly, if we could have focused things, but as you know, the sliders are still broken. But they're going to be fixed with the next patch, so it's not really a big problem for us at all. So this is what we'll be getting, by 2% in dirty air and brake cooling. And a decent amount of, well, not decent, a small amount of cornering, but we'll take that. And as you can see, it'll be done 28th of December, 45 days, so that works out perfectly for us as well. We are going to jump straight into Abu Dhabi here, final race of the season, and we'll try and get fastest lap. We'll have both drives in Q2 and Q3, barring, you know, any blockages or crashes. So let's jump into it, get practice done, get quali done, and then we'll see where we're at for the race itself. Alright, quali for the last race here is complete. As you can see, we didn't quali very good, 7th and 9th. Basically here, just a tad unlucky with a couple of the releases here. As you can see, Rick is pretty close to both Alonso and Perez. We are running pretty damaged cars. Tsunoda has a yellow engine, yellow ERS. So that is why he is a tad slower too. Both Williams here are taking penalties, Leclerc taking penalties, Lando's taking penalties, but they really massacred Merc. As they have gotten a 16th and a 14th here for qualifying. And this seems to be consistent across most of the saves, so Merc honestly needs a buff, because by end of Season 2, they are not going to be... they will not be this bad, let's be honest. This is basically an insane fall from grace here, where Haas is kind of beating Merc. But yeah, probably going to need a little bit of Merc buff there, I would think. It would make the game a little bit more fun. But honestly, at this point, just add difficulty. As you can see here, engine ERS is yellow for Tsunoda. We're not going to replace those. Won't really matter anything. Again, nothing we do in this race really has any effect on anything. So we're just going to take it as a calming Sunday drive. Still, I would prefer it if you could boys don't crash out. So yeah, we'll take that as it is. In terms of performance here, softs are about 3/10, so 2.5 tenths quicker than the mediums, with degradation of 300s. So again, just better for less than 10 laps. Not really great. And the medium to hard is about the same. Well, they have a little bit more to go on, so it'll be quicker for a few laps more, 11 to 12. And with that in mind, we can actually do something a bit interesting, because I look at Tsunoda's tires before the race. We could potentially do a very aggressive two-stopper. Something like this. As you can see, even this is a little bit too much. So we'd have to do something like this to make it work. But it is viable. That's the thing. The viability is there. And as you can see, it is quite quicker than this one. Even if we were to, say, tune this one up, it wouldn't be that much... well, it wouldn't be any quicker. As you can see. So we really want to avoid the softs here, is what we're seeing. However, only Tsunoda can pull off this strategy, because Rick doesn't actually have two mediums. He only has medium hard, two softs. So we have to be a little bit more flexible with him. Probably start him on... Honestly, I think we'll start him on the medium tire here. Like so. Run that one on aggressive. Run a full attack stint on the hard. And we'll adapt with the final soft stint there. I think this is just what we have to do. We could, of course, try and extend the hard stint. Maybe do this one a little bit more aggressively. But as you can see, running attack on the hard is going to be more valuable to us than running standard on the soft. And I think that is kind of what I did as a mistake in Las Vegas. Attacking on the soft when they have such high degradation probably was not the play. So we'll do this with the mediums and the hards instead. And we'll see how that works out. So 25-21 versus 25-16. 5 seconds slower. But we'll see if we can, as I said, make this work. I think it's going to be just about okay. Let's get into the race here, see what we can do. Now, we are running both boys on the kind of the same strategy, so I am going to tune down their aggressiveness, for sure.
And it's lights out, and away we go.
I'm waiting button.
Let's go like this. Again, the main goal here of this race is just survival. We don't need anything more than that. We are starting pretty far back, so we don't have any, you know, super quick cars around us to contend with. The main thing is going to be keep up with Paris, Leclerc, well, the Ferraris, the Red Bulls, and the Astons. That is going to be the goal for this race, and honestly, I think we can do that while running low aggressiveness. Particularly once we do the first couple of laps here, and the others start tuning down their, you know, attack.
A lot of debris.
And already we have a bit of an incident here. Lap 1.
Now we should be able to take a look here. Right, we're at turn 9. That's the location for this one. Cutting it so close. The car's coming together right there.
Okay, so they touched tires.
Yes,
That has got sent. Should be very lucky that I didn't have a rear wing hit, but yeah. Bit of an unfortunate incident there. Magnus made a bit of a penalty. And that actually creates a pretty nice gap here to Hulkenberg, which just slow him down. What exactly happened with Tsunoda there? It looked like he just slowed down a ton.
Now into turn 5. There's the opening.
Okay, so Gasly did basically a full send there, but Tsunoda, again, I guess that's due to the rarely defend order. But that was a pretty shocking, let's be honest.
2 cars out.
Another incident. Lando Norris and the other Mercedes touch tires a little bit. Nothing too major, but I feel like that is one where the Merc should have probably recovered.
So we need 1 step more management.
Copy.
But that is fine. For now, though, as I said, we have kind of lost Tsunoda a little bit here. Maybe tune them both up to neutral under defending. Because, well, Tsunoda did kind of step out a little bit too wide there, which caused us a little bit of pain. Now, Gasly has actually overtaken both of us, but honestly, again, it is okay. We're not running very good cars. A lot of the others took penalties earlier this, I was about to say this week, last race, the race before. So most of them still have good components. We just are running kind of on fumes. So even a 7th and an 8th there is something I would be happy with. But for now, we'll speed things along. We'll see where we're at. Let's get to that first pit stop of ours. And hopefully, we'll have a good one. We have a virtual safety car here, fairly early.
And keep following the reference.
What exactly has happened?
Okay.
Hamilton out. So, yeah, the Mercs are not having a good time here. That looks like he was porpoising a little bit there. That is unfortunate, but it is how it be sometimes. Locked up, hit the wall. But yeah, we will keep pushing for now, and we'll see where we're at once, again, we get to that first pit stop. We have gas squeezing in between us, but honestly, shouldn't be a problem. We're getting a little closer to that first pit stop, and as you can see, we made up some places, but this is also due to, as you can see, Alonso pitting. Pit stops have begun. And as you see, Stroll's going to be pitting fairly soon too. Our tires aren't that bad compared to the cars around us at the current moment. So with us running very aggressively, we are making up places. Rick in particular has been able to, you know, really chase down the cars in front. And we are going to be pitting very, very soon here. The same for Tsunoda. And honestly, for now, we'll just keep them out for a couple more laps here. And that should be okay. As you can see, we left Gasly behind. Wasn't really that much of a surprise, honestly. And I'm thinking that we're going to be pitting probably Sonoda on this lap. Just get him in first. And we'll do them one at a time here just to be kind of safe. Rick has a little bit more to go on his tires, so we can kind of delay his pit stop. He also is the one that is going to have to run that soft stint at the end. So we're kind of doing this to be on the safe side, if you will. That he doesn't actually have to, you know, run lower aggression than what we want to run from him. Now, Sonoda actually comes out in 13th. Again, there are a couple of soft runners here that are going to have to pit before too long. So, shouldn't have too many problems getting overtakes done, I would think. Of course, we also have a lot of energy here, so we can deploy to help out. And as you see, a lot of pit stops are now happening. Rick comes out just about behind Albon. But again, we are going to be running very aggressively. We have energy. So I don't think overtaking here is going to be much of a, you know, a challenge, so to speak. We are going to be deploying a little bit more, as we usually do, because again, we want to detach the trains behind us if we can. We have no desire to, you know, pull them along with us. And right now we're running in 7th and 8th. And just the Astons ahead of us have pitted. So Verstappen probably has enough of a gap here that he won't have any problems pitting and coming out ahead. But the other cars here, we are going to most likely beat on a pit stop. We have actually crashed it from Sonoda, fortunately. That is game over for him.
Okay.
Right then, we can take a look now. This one is involving Yuki Tsunoda. But oh, they can't avoid making contact.
Just lost grip there. I don't know if that happened. No, he pitted a lap before Rick, so he should not have any problems there with, you know, tires being too cold. Now, Rick actually managed to sneak out ahead of Sainz, even with the virtual safety car, so we'll take that for sure. And we should see everyone here now pit under this virtual safety car, all of the cars in front of us. So unfortunately, they get a bit of a free one. Not much we can do about that, honestly. Stroll had already pitted, Alonso had already pitted. We do beat them out, however, all of them. So we'll take that, honestly. We'll take that. The main thing now is going to be, can we pull away from Leclerc, the Ferraris, once this VSC ends? We did beat Verstappen up, but that is kind of what we expected to begin with, so that's not a bad thing. Virtual safety car has ended. Let's see if Ricky can pull out a good second on the Ferraris behind. And it looks like he'll have no problems doing that before this first DRS zone. Struggling a little bit, so they'll have DRS for this lap, and maybe next. Should probably push fuel as well. So yeah. We might end up here with having Leclerc running with us, but even so, if we pull Leclerc with us and leave the other two behind, that's not bad either. Take the small victories where we can find them. So yeah, seems like we will be running with Leclerc for the foreseeable future. In the game here to catch, well, Alonso. So with that in mind, we'll just keep things going, and we'll see where we're at in, well, about 15 laps time. Once we get to that final pit stop of ours. Unless, of course, we have some more incidents before then. We've had an incident here. Multiple cars have crashed. We are still fighting with Leclerc here.
And yes, we have. We've had a crash. What happened there?
I want to see what actually happened. It's, of course, the Alfa Romeos having a bit of a dance them themselves. Light touch there, but looked very reminiscent of the first Merc crash. But yeah, as you can see, we are getting very close to that second pit stop. The final pit stop, if you will. And what I am thinking here is that if we were to stretch these hards a little bit, would it benefit us? So we're currently at 25-22. I say that we go aggressive here. 25-22. Okay, we need to do this so we can actually move the lap for some weird reason. Or maybe I was just blind. Could be both. So if we manage to stretch to like this, we'd be about 4 seconds quicker. So currently, we're actually going to do that because there's no real reason not to. We have some gaps here to work with, and honestly, I'm fine with just staying out a little bit longer, going a little bit more aggressive on that soft stint. Although that isn't necessarily a good thing. Like, we probably should just get in here, get that pit stop done, and then start hunting down the cars, because we are going to be running out of laps to, play with. So with that, we're going to be coming in this lap. We are going to be tuning down to aggressive, and as you can see, degradation has been low on the mediums, it has been low on the hards, and we expected. So we can hope for basically saving a little bit on those soft tires too. Ricky kind of getting stuck behind a Alfa Romeo, but we get DRS to make up for it, so I'm not too miffed about that one. Unit tires sound too aggressive here, running in 5th. Let's see if we can actually, you know, catch a car. But what I think we're actually going to do first is actually nab that fastest lap, because I believe that we did said that we wanted that. So we have a bit of fresh air now, up to Perez, 5 seconds. What we're going to do here is now just push everything, full attack, try and nab that fastest lap. It's going to cost a little bit in terms of tires, but I think it's a worthy sacrifice, so to speak. And we did nab it. Tuning down the standard a little bit here. We have actually caught up to Perez there with that. We ran 4 seconds quicker. Well, almost 4 seconds, basically 3.7 seconds quicker. And a couple of good 3 seconds quicker than say Verstappen. So catching Verstappen probably not going to happen, but catching Stroll and Perez, that's for sure going to happen. Even if we run standard for a little bit here, just to, well, regain what we lost on running aggressive. Stroll actually ends up outside the track there. So yeah, Stroll also helping out a little bit and getting this done.
So let's take a look at the replay. Now this one involves Stroll. Things were all right here. And the car just locks. Now they did leave it very late.
To be fair, if that happened last year, it probably hit the wall, so improvement, I guess. But yeah, currently running with just 6 tenths quicker. Verstappen has a good 20 seconds there of just pure domination ahead of us. So we are just going to be very, very happy with where we are. We're just going to speed things along here a little bit here.
Okay,
I am fine with the tires overheating.
Okay.
What we want to do here is just try and get to the end safely. Do need to keep a bit of an eye on Leclerc here, but currently it does not look like a problem. So I think Ricky might, unless of course we have an incident, probably have secured 2nd place. Leclerc might also launch an attack in the last few laps, which could be detrimental to us. We are also catching Verstappen a little bit here by just a little over a second each lap, but with just 4 laps to go, it doesn't really, you know, make any difference. Same with fuel here, same with energy. We're just going to leave it as is. We don't need to really mess around with it at this stage. We have the gap to Leclerc. He isn't really closing it, so again, we're just going to speed things along here to the finish. We did kind of make a good comeback though, in terms of trying to catch Verstappen. Did get 2nd place here, so at least not a complete washout for this final race. Bit of a shame there for Tsunoda, honestly, but that does happen.
That was a fantastic performance.
There we go. Danny Rick wins the... I should probably watch that, but it didn't look like anything that we hadn't seen before. Danny Rick gets 2nd, Verstappen wins. Then we have the Ferraris, Alonso, Perez, Stroll, Gasly, and then the Williams cars. And that's going to be a bit interesting because we didn't really check that last time around. Where does Williams actually end up? And as you can see here, even if we deduct these 90 points, we're still well clear of Verstappen, so we win. Very nice. Williams here versus Merck. Merck still ended up 6th though, but Williams are actually kind of getting closer to fighting them, so I'm very curious how Merck's going to do next year, because they probably have been nerfed a tad too hard here, to be honest. Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned on that front. In terms of pit stops here, we actually have been completely pushed down to top 10. Every top 10 stop now is a sub 2 second. And the top 4 here are sub 1.9. We do win the fastest pit stop award though, but as I said, next year it's going to be rough. We're going to need a little bit of a help there from our pit stop guy. We did hit performance targets though, qualifying position streak, performance guarantees, get a good sum there of 4.5 million. We'll take that for sure. And we'll do the last few researches here that we have. Typo research has been completed, and I think we're just going to do another one right away. It's either that or we do chassis. We have 18 days, so if we do this, do a chassis one. We only have 4 engineers, 12th of December. We're going to need more engineers if we want to make that work. Can we take them from somewhere? Probably not. Probably what's going to happen is that we put the chassis research on the rear wing. So what we are going to do here is probably... The underfloor would be a very small increase. Wouldn't get much more, though, from the side pods, to be honest. But I think we are going to do the side pods here. They're falling a little bit behind, and we'll just do it as a 35-day project one. We'll waste a week of research doing this. Well, not waste per se, but you get what I mean. But it's just how things are going to have to be. Formula 2, Fittipaldi wins the final race. Well, he actually wins the championship itself. Novalak second, Hadjar third. So yeah. Invicta Virtuoso Racing wins the F2 championship. Danny Rick victorious. Starting with Driver Championship, we saw Tsunoda come in third. Verstappen takes second. Formula 1 2024 Driver Champion is Rick. Very nice. We also win the title. We'll take that for sure. Very, very nice. And I'm curious what we're going to see in terms of movement. Now, remember the stuff that we currently have. The technical chief here, the head of aerodynamics. All of these guys stuck in themselves in on contracts that weren't supposed to be as long as they are. So we'll have to see what we actually end up doing with them if we replace them next year. But honestly, I think that might make us a little bit too powerful. So we probably aren't going to do that. But as you can see here, Tsunoda had to destroy his car in the final race of the season. It is basically, what's it called? It's basically routine at this point. Want to offer my congratulations. Blues out of the water a little bit this season, can't deny that. Call it a lucky break though. Let's see if you can repeat that luck next time. The Red Bull is going to be fighting us. Honestly, I like this message. It's a really, really nice, you know, little friendly fighting, so to speak. Suspension research complete. I think we're just going to do another suspension, honestly. Its 2 needs a little bit of work, and as you can see, it's actually pretty vital for your low-speed cornering ability, as well as your cooling. So, getting your suspension up and running is actually kind of viable, and as you can see here, it'll just about make it for 29th December, so we'll do that. And the final research we're going to do here, as I said, it's going to be on that. It is going to be on the chassis of ours. Increased construction speed. I'm going to have to deny that because, again, we are not going to be using this until next season. So there's no need for us to speed that up. It's just a waste of money. We have Scouted Flash. I want to have a look at our current stats. They're averagely good, but if the overtaking has a huge course-causing racing incidents, it could be, you know, pretty expensive to you having the car. But it is one of the long-term goals here to pick her up in one of the saves. We'll have to see exactly which save we do it on. But what I'm thinking here for this Alpha Tauri save is that we are going to be promoting Lawson at some point into Rick's seat, and then maybe take Flush as a reserve. Probably going to have to do quite a few seasons to get her into a car that can win. But potentially we could try and promote it after that big regulation change in I guess it's 20. We're gonna start fighting that next season. So we could actually promote her after that and potentially have something happen there. But we'll see. It's still a little bit up in the open. We'll need to, you know, she has to race at least one more season in game. That's the thing. It needs to do 2 seasons in game. So we could potentially pick her up after this season, but we'll see. Rear wing, downforce, researched. Get one easy project down the chassis, done for the 30th of December. And that'll be all the research that we have time for this year. Driver development update. Tsunoda gains a cornering point. Same for Rick. Lawson here gets 2 points of smoothness. Very important for us here. Do need to improve his overtaking though, honestly. So the main thing here, as it turns out, it seems that, to me personally, it seems that overtaking is kind of important when you have crashes. So his stats aren't bad. Let's be honest. Smoothness, getting overtaking up a little bit, defending up a little bit could be viable for us. So what I'm thinking that we do here could be just go a little bit wheel to wheel. But for now, we'll continue with getting the smoothness up, the reactions, the cornering. Probably for another season or so. And all the stuff will be here for, as you can see, quite a long time. So we don't really have any concerns there. Board review, I would assume that's going to be just fine. Position will be vacant, except it won't because we have Lawson already on a pre-contract, as you can see. So it's not a big concern there. Now again, for the pit group, we're just going to go with this. We could potentially try and overtrain them. Basically go beyond these limits because it seems to work like that for the estimated pit stop time. But we'll see now because I haven't actually had a max pit stop crew at the end of a season before. So we'll see just how hard that drop that they're going to experience actually is. If it's going to drop them down into, you know, a territory that is actually going to be detrimental to us. Suspension sim has been upgraded. We have 37 million. We're not going to upgrade any more facilities right now. I'm going to be a bit careful with that money, and we'll see what we'll actually end up with at the start of next season. So Murphy still has low morale. That is honestly fine. I guess it's because we ended up putting him on a contract that was longer than what he wanted. But again, that isn't really our fault. The suspension sim here giving us some decent boosts. And again, your suspension sim is fairly important for, well, just your suspension. But your suspension is important for your brake cooling massively. And it's also very important for your low speed cornering. So it makes sense to invest into it, honestly, because it barely costs anything in upkeep. Particularly once you get a little bit better in, you know, your stats. Not your stats, once you get higher up in your expertise, about 70-80%, investing in those buildings to give you a very nice boost. So, could be structural damage in the design center. Design center shut down for 5 days. I guess we don't have a choice here, we'll approve it. Could cut out some research maybe, I think, but honestly we should still be fine. Design center concerns, no signs of structural damage, so we didn't actually need to do that. It is what it is, though. It's better to be safe than sorry. Particularly when we're in a, you know, a break period. Facility-wise, car part test center now is now maxed, which gives us a nice 10% to the brake cooling on the front wing, engine cooling on the side pods and chassis, some rear wing delta, and some downforce for, you know, underfloor rear wing and front wing. This is actually pretty big, so we'll definitely take that. Side pod research has been completed. And there we are. DHL Championship. We won. For 12 million. We have low morale for our sporting director. High confidence for the board. Rick won. Beautiful. Synoda came third. Again, probably would have scored better without the accidents, but that's how it is. Our team rating gets massively improved for next season. We're now a full 5-star team. And 12 million for the pit stops. We completed all our objectives. And, well, team rating has now been improved to leader. So drivers got a massive boost here with Rick and Tsunoda finishing first and third. Got a little bit more heritage. Team rating went up. Everything went up. So, yeah, the board gives us the complimentary 1.5 million. Now, in terms of the regulation change here, I'm a little bit unsure now how this is going to work here with the research. If we're going to have to spend a couple of days next season for it to actually happen. So we'll have a look at that probably next episode. This one has been a tad shorter because we've just been finishing up the season. But at the same time, I do like to have some pretty clearly defined lines on when we start a new season, when we, you know, have done the previous one, just to make it a little bit easier to follow. So we'll be starting next season next time around. But we have a pretty good starting point here. 40 million in the bank. In terms of the research that we have done, you can see here we'll have a pretty massive boost. Front wing will also be a pretty massive boost. The rear wing will be a small boost. Well, let's be honest, the front wing isn't a massive boost. It's a small boost too, same as rear wing. Side pods though, that's actually a massive boost, over 10%. Nothing for the underfloor, and the suspension gets a little bit of work in here. But it should definitely be, you know, not ignored. It's still a nice little booster. No changes to... well, this year's, so yeah. We'll have to have a look at that once we get going. The only thing we could really check there was research. But yeah, we'll click this button next time around, unfortunately. We'll have to end it here. Bit of a shorter episode today again. Hopefully, now this coming week, unless we have something silly happening, we should be back to a full staff, so to speak. So it should make my life a little bit easier. And hopefully, I'll be able to get back to making a bit longer episodes. Probably going to start on the scenarios. The race strategy guide is still in the works, of course, but generally they're just attack, driver development, facilities. I have a few more guys that I haven't gotten to yet, but I'll be looking at them probably this coming week. I don't really want to make any definitive promises because whenever I do, I feel like the world kind of conspires to give me extra stuff to do that makes me unable to do what I kind of want to. So it is what it is. We'll just have to deal with that. But as I said, we'll be ending it here a little bit shorter. Races were pretty mundane except for the crashes. So, yeah, hope you've enjoyed. And we'll see where we're actually at next season. I think we will be having a pretty decent boost compared to where we currently are. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Please like, subscribe if you haven't already. That helps me out a ton. And as I said, see you around next time. Bye-bye.